I told you about how they describe him now as a disruptor to the race. It's usually a two-horse race that we find in our electoral cycle. But this time around, it's so much different. He's someone who has had his eyes on being Nigeria's president and is not backing down. A two-term governor of Kano State, a former Minister of Defense. He's owed a PhD, and sometimes it needs reminding people to know just how much he's tried to educate himself. He's a presidential candidate of the NNPP. Senator Robbie Musa Kwankwaso joins us live here in our election studio. Thank you so much, and welcome to our studio. Your first time, isn't it?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Before we get into the old matters, 2 weeks before the election, it looks like a dream, right? We've been counting down, and it's just 2 weeks, 14 days. How does it feel with you?
Well, thank you very much, Sean. Let me say that politics is our game. I have been in it for the last 30 years. 30 years this time, I was Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps. I was in the Constitutional Conference of 1992, 94, 95, and so on and so forth. And I contested the election 18 times. I won 15, I lost 3. One as a sitting governor in 2003 in Kano, one in Lagos, presidential primaries in APC, and of course the third one was in Port Harcourt. So we are used to it, and this is our life. We'll continue as long as we're alive. We have to do whatever it takes in this game to save this country. So it's, for me, it's like all other days. Every day I've been working in the last 30 years. No Sunday, no Monday, no Friday, no Christmas, no Salah. Every day we have a program to suit that day of the year. And we are so happy about it.
And when we be looking forward to see just how many of the red hat-wearing supporters of yours, the Kwankwaso and the Talakawas that are always following you, how much of those will be able to turn out. You've lost very remarkable or very interesting way that you have lost in 3 major cities of Nigeria, in Kano, Lagos, and Port Harcourt. And these are cities that hold very big elections in Nigeria, and hoping on how you can turn that around in the next 2 weeks. But for you, if you look at it, does the race look clear that you can get it?
Of course, you see, 1 year ago, there was close to nothing in NNPP. But when we joined it, before you know it, millions of people registered in the party. And of course, we are the first party to submit our registered voters, both soft and hard copies, to the INEC. And before you know it, we were able to put our structure in all the wards in this country, in all the local governments, in all the states and zones, the 6 zones that we have, and of course at national level. Not only that, we are able to have close to 100% candidates, ranging from the presidential candidate, which is my humble self, and of course my vice president, Dr. Isaac Idahosa, or Bishop Isaac Idahosa. And of course, we were able to get credible candidates across the board. Today, as it stands, we have 108 out of 109 senators. We have 28 out of 28 governors. And of course, we have members of the House of Reps and members of the State Assembly across the country. And as it stands today, we uploaded 100% of our agents, polling agents, 100% in all the polling booths that we have in this country.
So you're a force in this race?
Oh, very strong force.
They call it the fourth force, that sometimes you are being referred to as the disruptor. Why do you think people feel or see you as such, as a disruptor of the race?
You see, before now, we had 2 parties, to the extent that the leaders in those 2 parties were so arrogant that there are two doors in this country. If you want to get out of the place, meaning join the politics, it's either you take this one or you take the other one. And it's like they frustrated everybody. Everybody who was credible, people with capacity and so on, was frustrated, leaving only some of them there. And when we brought this party, of course they underrated us, and we were very happy about it, to the extent that they thought just like any other party that came and died along the road. Now we are 2 weeks now to the election, and fortunately for Nigerians, the NNPP is getting even stronger by the day. Even though we have people across the parties, people who are sponsoring all sorts of fake opinion polls in the air, you know, using phone calls, few thousands, and they write the result and say this is number one, this is number two.
Bloomberg poll is the latest, which came out yesterday or today, and he's putting your very good friend Peter Obi in the lead.
Right, let me tell you, what they are doing is very dangerous to this country.
Why do
and
you say
I
so?
want the security agencies, the federal government, and all those concerned to take note of it. Now look, when Muhammadu Buhari started in 2003, in northern Nigeria, everybody was going to vote for Buhari, especially 2002, to the extent that I lost my seat, mainly because of that wind. And people voting in Kano would think that everybody in this country was voting for Muhammadu Buhari. At the end of the day, of course, you are just talking about your own area. And once somebody was announced, those people will only go out on the streets burning tires and killing people and destroying properties because they thought everybody in the country was voting for Muhammadu Buhari. And so many things happened in northern Nigeria, especially in my zone, in the northwest. Now, a similar scenario is trying to rear its head again. Now that people are bringing fake figures, believing that this is number one, this is number two, this is number three, and this is number four. And in our opinion, that paper should be put upside down. That's the fact of the matter.
Upside down, so how will it read
Number
then?
four they are putting should be number one.
Who is number four?
That's Rabi Kwankwaso, the NNPP. We are the people on the ground. PDP and APC are crumbling. So many issues there, and we all know about it. And people are looking for an alternative in this country. And we are taking that advantage. Now, when the number one, as they call it now, came, there was this social media hype. Everybody, people voting from Australia, from New Zealand, from America and Britain, people who some of them have never been to Nigeria. Maybe their origin is this country. So now the dust is settling, but still people are sponsoring this sort of poll. Now, you see, the opinion of many people who rely on that fake poll is that this one has won. And anything to the contrary, it will be like what has been happening in northern Nigeria. We know, I know. You see, we are the people on the ground. We are the one. I visited well over 400 local governments today in this country, and we are still visiting more and more local governments. Even today, I'm just coming back from Edo State. Now, the reality is, if things are allowed to go the way they are going, I foresee a real crisis at the end of the day.
So you are suggesting that the polling should be stopped?
No, it should not be stopped, but it should be realistic. People should not be allowed to be telling lies.
But this organization say that this is what they found out on the field. That's what they are saying.
You see, everything is getting so bad in this country. People ordinarily who would be respected, the ones we see, and even those who are sponsoring it ordinarily should be respected. But unfortunately, we are having virus now. Everything is going bad to the extent that this is a booby trap. Somebody is putting traps. Now you say it's number one, number two. You give him this percentage. Other people have small percentage. It's a trap. And this is very, very dangerous. I have seen it.
What danger do you think it
The danger is we believe that these guys are in the air. And somebody is saying they are on the ground. And when result comes, and the reality comes that they are in the air, And people start fighting. Those who believe in that...
Which particular candidate are you making reference to
Of
now?
course, the one they always portray as number one, that's the Labour candidate.
You don't think that it deserves or is
Absolutely
capable
no,
of those figures?
absolutely wrong thing and very dangerous for the country. And I want the security agencies and even the presidency to take note of what I'm saying. Look, even though I'm in the race, but I have been in this in party politics for a very long time. And we believe in this country. And we must not allow people to bring in fake news, to bring things that we are sure, just like we have seen with Muhammadu Buhari. I was in PDP. Most of the time he was contesting, except when we were together in APC. Many houses were... I was even attacked in Kano when I was in PDP supporting another candidate, because everybody was believing that the whole world, everybody in Nigeria was voting for Muhammadu Buhari, not knowing that it's only in your local government and in your state. So I think we should take note of that. And even the media itself, I believe, is ganging up to support what we are saying, which we believe will not help this country.
Now, so you must have a very strong reason why you think some of these polls and these different organizations, not one, not two, who have polled, and your friend Peter Obi has been put in the lead. Other political parties like PDP and APC, they also have polls that are in their favor. Why? Is it because it's not in your favor that you think these are not correct, or you think that these polls should not be allowed to be made public?
Now, did you see any poll from northern Nigeria? In fact, all those polls were coming from the south. And the media that is propagating that fake information is mainly from that part of the country. And what we are saying is, you see, things have gone so bad. Where are the good people? Where are the people who are supposed to be leaders in all these areas? That's what I'm telling you, that things are getting so bad almost everywhere. And unless we come to reality, for me, I mean, people are just planting things that will only explode.
Well, I mean, is it because this is not in your favor? If it were
no, I'm telling you the reasons. If you go to the... See, and these things are on telephone. Over 90% of my supporters don't even know Twitter. They don't even know social media. If you want to meet them, go to Musa Market. Go to market in Kano. Go to even market in Sabo Ibadan. Go to market in rivers. Go to roads and so on and ask people. You cannot just go rely and take very small sample. If you are talking of over 200 million people, you just take a couple of thousands and say this is the opinion of Nigerians. Look, this was being sponsored mainly to get donations. Because now the impression they are giving is all of us are not even the race. The winner is already being predicted. And this is very dangerous. You see, get money, put these traps on the ground, and create problems when the election is announced. I know that, look, anybody, even me, if my party is based on religion or based on ethnicity, even before the 25th election of February, that party has lost the election. And you see, I mean, people have to come out and do something. The sort of problems we are having today, ranging from scarcity of fuel to scarcity of cash and so on and so forth. These were things that were manufactured not necessarily today. We are just reaping what some people have already planted in the past.
Senator, some of these polls are in fact done by Bloomberg, for example, that released the poll yesterday or today, is a foreign organization.
You see,
you know the reason why I'm asking?
I have been in the UK for about 10 years of my life, and you get crooks in the UK, you get crooks in Europe, you get.
To what end do you think? I mean, if you are alleging that there are motives that are untoward in the release and the conduct of this poll, to what intent do you think that these people or this organization have about the Nigerian
One, create
politics?
crisis when an election is announced. Two, the candidate now will be getting donations left, right, and center from international communities to their supporters all over the world because he's number one. So you see, all these things, as I told you, things are falling apart. even those that ordinarily you should trust. It's just like you now, having known something on the ground, now you go out what is happening in this studio, you are here, you are a witness to what is happening. And somebody outside there is telling another story.
What about
Where
the
is
one that favored Tinubu and Atiku? The PDP
I have
and
not
the
seen
APC?
that one. I have not seen that one.
So, I mean, you are criticizing the poll by that favors Peter Obi.
All of them
but you
favored
don't-
him.
but-
So far, the ones I saw.
So you don't think Peter Obi has a chance in
Look,
this election?
ask all these parties are doing their in-house. We even do our in-house polls. And I can tell you, none of them, they want to be fair. And they're not bringing it. Why is APC doing its own? Why is PDP not doing its own? When they do it, they know the winner. That's the whole thing. They know the story. Many of them now are rattled. They cannot bring the ones they have
If you
done.
think, Senator, that the poll does not reflect what is going on the ground as it favors Peter Obi in most of the polls that have been released, what do you think about Peter Obi's chances?
You see, I can tell you, and I said it here on this chair, when we are about to come together, and I said it, that the only opportunity they had is for us to come together. Now we know what is happening. The first one they released from his side, from Peter Obi's side, they are giving me 6% in the Northwest. Even a madman knows that I'm over and above 6% or even 60%. They have done it. We have seen the in-house figures of PDP and the APC. And they dare not bring it out. And you see, I always enjoy people who would want to underrate me. They have done that in 1999. Nobody was giving me a chance in Kano. Within few months, the party came. I went into primary and PDP. I cleared it 100%. So also the general election.
So you repeat same?
It's the same.
You think you can win this election?
That's what is on the ground now.
You think you can win this election?
Of course. You see, as far as we are concerned in the NPP, we have locked Northern Nigeria. In fact, even today, when I had a call from from you or these channels, I was there. The youth wing of Khan in Northern Nigeria, all of them came together and endorsed Rabi Kwankwaso, which was very good for them, for Northern Nigeria, and by extension, Nigeria itself. And so many other groups have done it. We don't want to go to the market and start shouting. But I can tell you, many people will be shocked. Now, if somebody wants to do a poll, even you can do it. Tomorrow, go and put your cap and go to any market in Abuja or go to market in a village. They will tell you who they support. But if you do a telephone thing, telephone Android, now where by supporters, well over 90% if you tell them Twitter, they'll just look at you. Social media.
Let me get your view on the decision of the Council of State today. They made, in summary, they said, look, print more money or print more money or allow the two notes to run concurrently.
Yes. You see, let me congratulate those who were expelled from PDP and tell them that we'll be very happy to have them. In any case, all of them, including Chimaroke Namani, was my colleague in 1999 as governor. And we foresaw all these things coming. So we are happy with what is happening in the PDP and the APC, and I'm sure in the next two weeks or so, more will come. Now, on the issue of the Council of State, the issue of printing more money or allowing the two notes to run concurrently, you see, I think the whole thing was a mistake.
The policy.
The policy.
The swapping of the
Yes, especially the timing. Everything has time. It's just like here in the north now. If you go and start planting crops, you hardly get them because this is not the time. But very soon time will come. When it comes, even if you throw it out of the window, you will see it germinating and coming out for everybody to see. So we did not support the idea of this currency redesign at this critical time. Because you see, this is the time that we need peace. This is the time that we need prosperity, so that people can be happy, so that they can go comfortably and vote the people of their choice. Now, look at the situation now. Fuel, almost nothing. You go to everywhere. I went to many states in the last couple of weeks, and just there is no this fuel. And where they are, the price is multiplying by 2 or even more. So, plus this issue of no cash. You see, if you are bringing this type of policy, you have to do a lot of groundwork. We started e-payment in Kano. When we wanted to start it, we went around and looked at the issue of banking facilities in towns, villages, and cities in Kano State. And we realized we could not start unless we have additional banks. We registered 37 microfinance banks in Kano just to prepare for e-payment in Kano State. And any government must do that, because the idea is not to punish the people. The idea is to ensure that the right thing is done. So we support cashless transaction, but the way it is being done, government is only punishing the innocent people in the country.
And I'll ask you some very straightforward question. If you win the election, you will have on your hands, if you elected the next president, a lot of issues to resolve in the economy of the country. The debt burden is going to be there, the inflation figures, unemployment. I mean, on your fourth day of assuming office, should you be elected, what drastic action would you make to correct or to fix the economic troubles or the pains that Nigerians are feeling today?
You see, the position of our party, NNPP, was very clear. Right from day one, we told the government that they should extend it, make it open-ended. Now that they said they had to start it, no going back. Instead of opening it open-ended, what they did was to increase by 10 days. 10 days was very much inadequate. Now look, in some states, in northern Nigeria today, you have people living over 200 kilometers away from any bank in this country. And you see, you are talking of people who have 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion. We are talking of people who are having 5,000, 3,000, somebody who is selling even sugar cane, one piece, which he cleaned and is cutting and selling. People who are doing little business to earn a living. Their capital is very small. Now, their capital cannot even convey them from where they are to any bank and come back home. And all these arrangements were not being done. So our concern, of course, is the poor, the talakwas of this country, and they are really suffering. Now, we from MBS, they told us there are more than 133 million people who are living below poverty line. Now, the ones that are above,
multidimensionally poor,
those that are even above the line now, look at it. People, even Rawani was saying he didn't have cash. I don't have cash. I'm struggling to get cash to even sustain what I'm doing, my movement.
so they say the rich also cry.
Because you see, the point is, the people that they thought will suffer from this policy are the very people who own banks.
So, Senator, what would you do? What would you
have state governments. Now you go to state governments, now only God knows what is happening, because they will summon all the bank managers, all the managing directors, and ask them to collect in the
You think that is what is happening?
And you see, people are even worried. What is even happening in the National Assembly and so on? We are aware they invited the governor. And since then, we have not had much from them. And people are making a lot of allegations. So all these things, I can tell you, it is the poor, very poor, that is suffering.
What would you do to turn this around, should you win the election?
Now, should I win election is simple. And as we said it as a party, that we will allow each and every Nigerian with 1 naira to whatever number naira you have legally to come and get your own new currency. Of course, the decision by the Council of State to ensure that we have more currency, more cash, is very important. But the problem is, whatever they have today, there are people who are looking for billions and billions, especially to finance this election. Now, we are looking at the whole scenario as a party, that PDP and APC have got a lot of money. Not only that, they have governors who will do whatever they can do in their states to get money for them. They have many people who have banks, and some of them may even have banks themselves.
Senator.
And therefore, all what we are saying is, this, when we have an opportunity, the first thing to do is, of course, we'll open it and ask people to bring in their money.
Let's wrap up, and I have two quick questions. Do you think INEC is ready for this election, from your own standpoint?
Well, I've been very busy doing my campaigns. I'm not sure if they are, I hope they are ready, but the fact remains that we are very concerned about what they have done in Kano in 2019. And our prayer is this time around they should be upright and do the right thing. Now, the little hope that we have today is what they have done in Ekiti, in Osun, and even in Anambra states. And that is giving us a little bit of hope, plus the fact that, of course, President signed the electoral law, now that we have beavers, and that will help. Now, we are keeping our eyes, and we hope the INEC will do the right thing. So other stakeholders like the security agencies, we have seen a situation, especially in Kano, where we have seen the worst side of the members of the police force and other security agencies.
Senator.
They went and connived with the government shamelessly, very crudely, and declared the losers winners, and vice versa.
We're totally out of time now, but in 20 seconds, if you may, almost 60 or more than 60% of the voting population are young people between age of 18 and 39. Do you see these people on your side? And if should you lose this election, what would you do? Would you try again?
Now look, the young men and women have always been our strength, all along. To the extent that when we are having more and more young men and women who are registering, we are very comfortable. You see, we have a very good policy in education. Free education from primary school, secondary to even tertiary level. We sent over 3,000 young men and women abroad in 4 years. We established 2 universities in Kano. We sent our children to private universities, in thousands in this country. We sent them to federal universities and so on. At the time I was living in Kano, there was nobody that we knew who had qualification to go to university or any tertiary institution that you could not get, and who was not sponsored. So you see, we have been friendly to the young men and women, and I can tell you,
think they will come through
we
for
are
you?
the only people today that will start from one end of Nigeria to the other end of Nigeria, and everybody is hailing us because they have seen people who are likely going to save them from the crisis that we have today in this country.
Senator Rabi Kwankwaso is a presidential candidate of the NNPP, and I wish you the very best in this race. Thank you so much indeed for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Well, that's our show for today. I'll see you again on Sunday at 8 p.m. Bye-bye.